What's up, everyone? My name is John with Paradigm Mixing and Mastering, and today I wanted to show you how I use Logic's stock multiband compressor to mix my drums. So the method that I'm using here, this is something that I've sort of just kind of come to like. I know people have a bunch of different ways that they like to mix their drums, but this will work very well for hip hop and EDM, specifically bass music, stuff where you really kind of want a really good punch coming from your kick and snare. So yeah, let's get into it. So I'm going to show you, this is just a idea I started the other day, so it's not, it doesn't sound great or anything. But I took my processing off of my drums, and then I wanted to show you what I'd do after I'd laid down MIDI and gotten a pattern. So here's what it sounds like right now. So these drums, I already picked these, right? Because I liked kind of the feel for them for what I'm doing here. I'm doing sort of a trap flow.
Packs in my rap from the block.
So after, selecting whatever drums you like, what I will do next is I will shorten my kick as much as I possibly can. This is before the multiband compressor. So I'm going to shorten it as far as I can without affecting the low end too much. So, solo just the kick here. So this kick already sounds pretty good as is, but we're going to make it better. So the kick's a little bit long right now, so again, I'm going to... I like it right there. I'd say that's the length that I like for that. And then my snare here. All right, so I got those shortened up. And now what I'm going to do, sometimes I will add saturation before, just a little bit. I think with this snare, I'm going to add some saturation here. That's about right there. I'm going to put a little bit of reverb. There we go. All right, so now I'm going to go back up to my group here. So this is I have my kick and snare in a bus together. And I usually, so I'll do individual processing. I'll use saturation to do a lot of, and then some reverb on my snare sometimes. And then I will go straight up to the Logic multiband compressor here. I'm going to cancel out of this and just open it up from scratch so that, not that one. All right, so what I actually do here is Logic has, if you go to their presets, they have punchy drums. So this is what I start with, and then basically I mess around with it until I get something I like. So what I'll do is I'll play it back. So you can hear the difference, but I don't like it yet. So what I do with each of these bands that I recommend as like a general practice is sometimes when you're fine tuning, especially when you're kind of learning how to mix, you don't really know, you can't hear fully what's going on. And so what I'll do is I actually will bring up each of these bands much higher than I would ever possibly use, but just to hear when they start clipping the sound, distorting the sound, and then I'll pull them down to the threshold just to see where I can get away with, and then that will be I'll draw it back a tiny bit from there, and that'll be my point. So I'm going to start with the low here. Like that there. So the third band here, this one I just do gentle adjustments with, usually because it'll start making the kick have a lot of high end, and it'll make the snare a little bit harsh. Kind of create some resonant frequencies. So I'm just going to slightly adjust this. All right, I like that. And then I use this high end to bring out the snare. If I need to bring it out a little bit more, or I'll leave it the same. Or if the high end's a little aggressive on the snare, I'll bring it down. All right. And then I will turn up the out gain here until I start to hear some clipping. All right, we'll leave it right there. And then at the end of my chain, I will always put a clipper. Oh, sorry, there. Now we're seeing it clip. There we go. Sorry about that. I had my clipper off here. So I always put a clipper at the end of my drum bus personally. I like how it sounds better than a limiter. And now I can actually hear what this is clipping, so. All right, I think we're going to go to 0.8. All right, that sounds pretty clean. Let's see how it sounds with the percussion. And you can hear the kick is jumping that much more. It's kind of, I feel like using the multi-band compressor with this method, you get a lot more push from it. Let's hear how it sounds with the beat.
Packs in my rap from the block to the back, to the back, to the back, to the back, to the back. Doing you in the trap, G's around a couple yats, couple yats, couple yats, couple yats.
So yeah, that's how I use Logic's multi-band compressor to mix my drums. So I hope you guys enjoyed.